So today we're going to be talking a little bit about color theory, and this is going to feed right into the project that you are going to be doing. We're going to start out with making what are known as swatches. Swatches are mixings of color on a piece of paper. It's an experiment. It shows you how these things are going to look before you actually use them on the things that are more important to you. So if you screw up on this, it's fine, but it kind of shows you and gives you a little bit of practice what these things will look like once we do them. So you can use regular Crayola crayons. This is a 48 pack, regular Crayola pencils, or if you have the really nice kits, Prismacolor makes a really nice colored pencil. Markers we don't want to use for this project because they will smear. So learning this project, you are going to either need colored pencils or crayons. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our sketchbook or our sheet of paper, and we're going to need a ruler and a pencil. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by making a grid on this page. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the edge. My edge is actually right here on my ruler. It says 0 right here, so I wouldn't go all the way to the edge. I would line up the edge of the paper with this line so that I know that this is 1 inch right here. Typically, you don't want to use the edge of rulers because they can get really dinged up or have a lot of dents and it's harder to measure. So what a lot of people do is they start with number 1 at the 1 inch, and then they line that up with the edge of the paper, and then they go out from that. So that's something that I would recommend if you're looking for really good precision, but you do not need to. So we're going to start by lining up our edge of the paper. So this is where my edge of the paper is. Like if I would rip this sheet out, this is my edge. So I'm going to put the 0 right on that edge. And I'm going to put a mark at every inch. So the inch is the big number. So some of you might have rulers that look like this, or might have it broken down into 1/2 inches, but we're going to use a full inch. So we're going to go 0 to 1, and we're just going to put a little mark there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you want to keep your ruler as straight as possible. I had to move mine around because I've got a lamp that I'm bumping into. But after you've made your little tick marks, you're going to slide the ruler down. You don't want to flip it because not all paper is exactly 1 inch. So this is 8.5 inches going this way. So you can see that my tick mark right here kind of goes not all the way to the edge. So if I were to flip my ruler over and started to measure from there, my lines would be going zigzaggy. So you always want to slide the ruler down. You don't want to flip, you want to slide. So I'm going to measure, get this all matched up again. So 0's right on the edge. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I have tick marks at the top and tick marks at the bottom. So now I have 2 places that I can connect my ruler. So I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to make my ruler match up with this line. I'm going to connect it there, and then I'm going to connect the to the little tick mark at the bottom. And this should give me a nice straight line. So once this and this are matched up, I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to hold my ruler down real tight so it doesn't move. So once I am done with this, I'm going to do the same thing on the sides. So when I'm done, I should have a really nice grid that has 1 inch by 1 inch squares throughout the whole thing. So we're only going to worry about 6 of the squares going horizontally. I'm actually going to skip this first square. I'm going to make a little mark here just so I know where it is. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put another little mark. And then count another 1, 2, 3. So I'm really going to have 2 different columns with 3 squares. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and here's a column, and here's a column. So I'm going to practice with both crayons and colored pencils. So these might be my crayons, and these might be my colored pencils. So we are going to use both the techniques of stippling and cross-hatching. We are going to take the colors and we are going to put each color in here. And we're going to take their analogous colors. The analogous colors are the colors next to them on the color wheel. For example, next to yellow is orange and green. Next to red is orange and purple. We're going to use analogous colors to blend these. So I'm going to start off by using crayons. So I've got my basic 6 colors of Crayola crayons here. I've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. We're going to start using these at a technique called stippling. Stippling is to make little dots. Sometimes it's referred to as pointillism. So we're just going to take our crayon and we're not going to jam it really hard because we don't want to break our crayons, but we're going to make little dots. So it's okay if you don't fill up the whole thing, but I did a pretty good job filling up this square with the red dots. Now I'm going to do the same thing on both of these sides. Once I'm done, I should have most of the space filled with the dots. We don't need to make these solid colors, but we want to fill it up as much as possible. So going back to the analogous colors, the 2 colors next to red on the color wheel are orange and purple. You may have learned that there are different colors that are warm colors and cool colors. Oftentimes people refer to the warm colors as red, orange, and yellow, and the cool colors being green, blue, and purple, which is true. There are also warm and cool colors for each color individually. So, going back to the stippling that I did with the red crayon, the analogous colors for the red crayon are orange and purple. Using these colors, you can make each color more warm or more cool. So if I add purple to red, that's going to make it more cool color. Or if I add orange to red, I'm going to make it more warm. So every color actually does have a warm and cool value to it. Usually it's only the primary color. So what we're going to do is we are going to make warm and cool variations with stippling and our crayons. This is going to give us a lot more colors rather than just the basic colors of the crayons themselves. I'm going to do all of my warm colors on one side. This is my right side, so I'm going to make those all my warm colors. And then everything on the left is going to be my cool colors. So I'm just going to start stippling right on top of the colors that I've already stippled. Because I've added purple to the red, now it looks much cooler, like a cool color. And since I've added orange to red, it's become a warmer color. And you can keep going on with this, and you're going to get a lot of different color variations. And even though we haven't actually mixed colors, the farther away we get from these, the more our eyes will blend those colors together. So I'm going to keep going with this. So you'll notice on some of these that I switched the colors. So we've got a purple and blue here and a purple and blue here, which these are both on the cool side, and red and green are a little bit closer to the warm side. So you have to really think about what side the color combinations will go. Is it closer to the cool side or is it closer to the warm side? So considering that blue and purple are very cool, they would stay on this side, whereas the yellow and orange are very much so on the orange side, or on the warm side, so they would both be on this side. So this shows you how you can combine different colors of crayons, which usually aren't very good for mixing colors, but you can combine them in different ways so that you can make more colors than what you have. And since you have extra space down here, you can mix different colors and see what colors come up with those color combinations. You can experiment with making more colors that will fit your drawings more accurately. Next, we're going to use colored pencils. We're going to use cross-hatching instead of stippling. Cross-hatching crisscrosses lines that go in opposite directions, make windows. And the closer these little windows get together, the darker it's going to be. The wider these windows are, the lighter it's going to be. So we're going to use the same colors. I'm using my Prismacolors because I don't have enough of the Crayola colors, but you can use any colored pencils you like. The same thing that we did with our color combinations for the crayons and the stippling that we are for our cross-hatching. So for the cross-hatching, I like to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I turn it and I go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I like to count when I do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I have my box filled, instead of going and using the same color, I'm going to do my crisscrosses with 2 different colors. So this is known as just hatching. Cross-hatching is to go back and forth. It kind of looks like a burlap sack or a weave, but using a hatch just goes in one direction. So on either side of my main color, I'm going to just do hatching. So I'm just going to go one way. Once I have my hatching done, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with my stippling. I'm going to have a cool side, and I'm going to have a warm side. And since we've already done this, you can kind of figure out what colors go with which areas. So with red, the cooler side is the purple, and the warmer side is the orange. So we've got one color in the middle, and then we've got our analogous colors on the sides. So like we did with the cross-hatching with the first one, we're going to go the opposite direction with the other colors. We're going to keep doing this all the way to the bottom, just like we did with the stippling, but this time we're using cross-hatching. In the middle, we're doing the actual cross-hatching, and on the sides, we're doing hatching with 2 different colors. So stippling and cross-hatching gives you some examples of techniques that you can take different colors that can't typically be mixed well together, but you can still make it look like they are mixing into different colors. Do more, do better.